Hey Alex, how are you doing? That was very nice job there you did with the big six string and the high C. Yeah, I think you're off to a good start. I also am not the greatest when it comes to comping chords on rhythm changes because I don't have the high C. You see, I have the low B bass. So I don't really know a lot of tricks. Let's say I would have to construct getting through these changes without using the roots. So even though it's totally possible to do that, but if you're the person who's on the bass chair and you're taking over the comping, it might be good to have the root if nobody else is playing it. So anyway, it's all possible. Um, so I did dig out some pretty cool changes. Let me see if I want to just improvise a little bit and to see if I can get into some of those, and then I'll talk to you about them afterwards. Let me hit this looper pedal. Okay. Okay, it starts again. Ah, hmm. All right. Okay, so the loop wasn't super tight, but it it helped me out a little bit with my chords. So the cool thing to do when you're hitting especially the dominant seventh, there are all these different voicings for the flat nine, the sharp nine, the natural 13. So let's say, for instance, um, like the first chord, this would be pretty standard bass chord, three note voicing. You can also use the six, this one. If you want to avoid the root, you can go, oh, I'm a little bit out of tune. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the last one I was playing was this one. So for C, D, E, and A natural. Well, still sounds out of tune. Okay, let's take a screwdriver to it. You know what sometimes happens is when the strings get older, the strings themselves go out of tune. Not in terms of you have to tighten or loosen them, but in terms of the octave gets whacked out. So in other words, like say if you're hitting the harmonic here, you know, on the G and the D, A and the E, when you push down the same note, it should be the same. You see how this one is a little flat? This one too. And in the beginning when I changed the strings, I also adjusted the octave. But so now the strings are older and the octave is moving around. So the strings themselves have problems. So, but anyway, that should not slow us down here. So, so that's the first chord. 1 and 6, right? This one you already know. You can also do with the flat 5. So and then without the root it would be like so. That's it. That would be it, right? Like 2 minor with them, put the flat 5 in there. You get this shape here. Yeah, you can go half step motion. You go so from the, instead of going A, this is pretty much standard tritone substitution, works there too. So you go, you know, from the E minor to the E flat 7 to the D minor to the D flat 7 back to the 1. So that's a way to do it. Now when you're, let me see, we're in C. So when you go to the so once you get to the bridge, then you can put a lot of cool voicings in there because they're all dominant 7th chords. For instance, for the flat 9, I would use this one with this one. So you see how you have E, G sharp, D natural, and then the flat 9 on top. You can leave this away. So let's say you can also bring it, let's say, let me see. Yeah, so right here, E7, the A7, then a D7, also flat 9 voicing, the G7, or you can also make them all a little more dissonant by going flat 9, flat 5, flat 5, like this. One of my favorite ones is sharp 9 voicing, which is this. You see, like E7, flat sharp 9, A7, D7 sharp 9. This is anyhow a very cool shape where you have a tritone and a 4th. You know, this one, it's one of those things that moves around nicely, like. So you can use that stuff like, see, like the sound of the. You can always move them around. So whenever you hit the dominant 7th chord, you can also shift it up in minor thirds and just make a part of that. So let's say you see? So I just substituted the sort of like chordal run in minor thirds, all dominant 7, to just replace the last dominant chord. Let me see. There's some other cool chords. The natural 6 ones. Yeah, the one, I think I already played this one for you. This is like the one that you learned from my little sequence, this one. But this one is with flat 7. You see, so you have root, flat 7, and the 5th at the same time. That is a cool one. So anyway, let's wrap this up, and just from the principle, yeah, we're trying to make music, and having too many ideas and too many possibilities is actually a liability. It's being sold to us as an asset by you know, people who are trying to sell things. But for us, it's a liability, because all we're trying to do is get someplace. We are trying to get to that place of satisfaction where we feel like we are playing over these changes, comping these chords, and doing it in a new way that we haven't done it before, and we're liking it. That's it, right? So you have to at one point narrow it down and say, okay, I'm going to try one way to get through this thing. This is the way I normally do it. Now I'm going to try one way to get through all these changes with one extra possibility per chord. And then you run that, you just have to repeat that until it's part of your long-term memory. And that's where most of us fail, because we want to learn more things, we want to get ahead. So once we can do it, and we do it a few times, we're like, cool, I got this, let's do something else. And that excitement is essentially positive, but you know, from an old man's perspective, if I may say so, you'll get to a point as you get older in life, a lot of things are going to wear off, where you'll be like, oh, I've been there before, oh yeah, I've experienced this before, and you're going to be in this place where you're going to ask yourself, what is it all about? How do I get to that deep place that makes me feel young again, that makes me feel like I've never been here before? And in a way, it's almost like I've learned that certain things, when you're really playing from the heart and it counts, as if it's your last day on earth, there are only going to be a few things available to you. Everything that is not super deep and super solid and super repeated many times is not going to be there for you, because your mind is not going to be in a space to abstract and think. You just want to express, you see? So in a way, to wrap it up, my recommendation for you is, when you think you're ready, keep going. Add, let's say, if it took you from here to here to get ready with a new thing, a new exercise. Let's say you're getting through your comping with new chords, and you're solid about it, and it takes you from here to there, and you arrive. Instead of quitting and going on to something else, take a third more and stick it onto it to make it this much. And while you're working on that extra third, that is gravy, basically, concentrate on things like dynamic, quality of tone, vibrato, sliding into it. So anything to make it juicy and to make it speak, so that it's not just material, it becomes language. You see, our culture pushes us forward all the time, more, 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 more. That's not a mature thing. That is coming from cultural immaturity. And people who grow old start to realize, I've been sold all this time, you know. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do this. Yeah, but just give me one thing that works, please. So, those are my 5 cents. Other than that, knock yourself out. You know, I'm glad you're enjoying your studies and life is good. I'm here for you and look forward what you come up with next. Take care. Bye bye.